3, 2, 1. Here we go. So I haven't actually done this before, but I'm going to do it on this session. I want to talk about a particular movie that I recently saw called Jiro Dreams of Sushi. It's a documentary about a sushi chef. And I would say it's definitely in my top 5 favorite documentaries that I've ever seen. It is incredible to watch. I don't know what it is with movies with subtitles, but some of the best movies with subtitles have been made. This one's quite outstanding to me. It really looks at the craft of sushi making and what goes into it. I didn't know so much went into it, but it's about this man who's been making sushi every day of his life since he was 9. He's creating this. I don't know if that is even fact or anything. That's what he said, but that's incredible. 75 years. He's 85 in the movie, and he's still running this restaurant under a subway station. I'm thinking, people come here and they pay $338 Canadian, so that's probably about $280 American, just to sit, eat sushi, and sometimes it only runs for 15 minutes and then they're done. And this is like a Michelin 3-star restaurant, which means this is the restaurant people should go to just to travel to the country and just to do this one thing. This would be a worthwhile restaurant to go to, which is incredible for a sushi place, which only has 10 seats and it's a very simple layout. But the simplicity of it is what makes it so brilliant. There's very little chaos involved in the delivery, but behind the scenes, the amount of effort that goes into making each and every dish is incredible. Although the dish might be small, the incredible work behind the scenes makes this all the more interesting, all the more appealing when you see the story of this man who's been doing this day in, day out, this single craft. This is all he does. He becomes an expert at it, fine-tuning his craft, making everything perfect, spending years and years trying to find better ways of doing things. It's just an incredible documentary to check out. I recommend it for everyone who's trying to figure out how to focus and how to go through life with some sort of a direction, some sort of a goal. And there were so many words of wisdom that came from it. And I have to rewatch this. I just watched it last night and I'm thinking I need to rewatch this probably 2 more times. I need to watch it for the visuals, and then I need to watch it to absorb the words again, to just focus on the words that were said, because they're quite meaningful. And there's an interesting story about, passing this down to his son and grooming his family to take over for when he's gone, which is just fascinating. And he said he's really difficult on his sons so that they would achieve a level of excellence that would be acceptable, and that he needed to be very strict in his discipline. I'm thinking the struggle is maybe important, and that 10 years, it will require you 10 years to do one activity behind the scenes as an apprentice before you can start making eggs. It's like the egg squares in the movie. You can't even get to make eggs for 10 years in this restaurant because it's a good way to weed out the people who maybe don't want to do this, and that the struggle is really important, and that and Jiro makes a point of saying too many people today kind of give up and they don't fine tune their craft and they're aimless. And it's so true. It's so powerful. This was made in 2011, 2012. And it still rings true today, of course. It's only 6 years later. So, and now more than ever, it's important to perhaps focus on one thing and become an expert in that one endeavor and give it your all. Sushi making might seem very simple, but there's so much behind the scenes. You need to source the shrimp. You need to source the tuna. The tuna sourcing is incredible. This restaurant has one particular vendor that they go to for tuna. And they have one particular vendor for shrimp, and the vendor only deals with shrimp. And then one particular vendor for rice. And it's like, okay. They have a very specific way of doing things. It's very fascinating in that this structure, this routine is not just in the restaurant, but it lives inside of Jiro, the owner of the restaurant, in his day-to-day. His routine is very structured. He doesn't take days off unless there's holidays or unless there's a emergency like a funeral. He doesn't wait for life to pass him by. He keeps going. He's doing what he loves, and that's sushi making. And he's doing it so incredibly well. And I'm just thinking, well, wouldn't it be great if we all just did the one thing that we could be really great at? And what is that thing that we can do? And I'm thinking, like, I'm sort of at a crossroads as well. It's like, where do I focus my energy so that I can excel at my craft, right? To be incredible at this one thing for the rest of my life. What would that be? And then you cut out all the noise surrounding yourself and you say, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm locked in for this for the next 70 plus years of my life. And Jiro says an interesting point. It's like, his son should do this for the rest of his life. Like, he's saying this is what he should be doing for the rest of his life. And he should put all of his effort into it. It's true. Because if he enjoys what he's doing, then he will be putting all of his effort into it. And this will be his mission to provide an incredible experience, incredible food. I'm just inspired by this documentary. It's quite powerful because when you think about it, we don't seem to have as many hobbies today. Social media, unless you call social media a hobby. Too many people on social media kind of running around aimlessly, and they might not have a particular hobby. But it would be quite powerful if your work was your hobby and this is your passion and this is what you did and you love this so much that people will begin to take notice. It's quite a powerful feeling. And I suppose the main takeaway from this movie that I learned, I really suggest that you check it out. It's easy to find, of course. It's the title of this session, so you should be able to find it and be able to watch it. It's probably on Netflix, but the main takeaway is figure out what your craft is. What can you really excel at? What can you become a master in? And don't waste any more time with noise. Just focus on that craft. Become the best at it. If that's something that you enjoy, then do it. And then maybe you'll become someone like Jiro, an incredible person who's changing the world in their domain, setting the standard. I'll leave that with you. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.